The Dead Pear Podcast is fueled by Fiocchi.
Paul?
Welcome to the Dead Pear Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays.
Guy Fieri.
How are you, gentlemen? Thanks for having me.
Anthony Matarese Jr., how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well.
Welcome back, David Radulovich.
That's a net positive 30 minutes. Brad Kidd.
Corey Cruz. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Now I feel awkward.
With your hosts, Jason
No
Rambo
more Red Bull for you.
and Sean Alley.
Woo, yeah!
Christmas.
Let's do it.
Often imitated but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pear Podcast. And now, it's showtime.
Welcome back, Mr. Large and in Charge. What's up, buddy?
You the same, Mr. Rambo. We are back in studio 2023, coming at you right now with a new podcast.
Yeah, and I am extremely humbled.
Yeah?
We got some stats from Buzzsprout, and for those that don't know, Buzzsprout is a platform that we load our podcast to, and it distributes them to all the directories like Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, all the places that we have our podcast.
Right.
They gave us a bunch of stats from 2022, and I am completely blown away. I just cannot believe how much we have grown. In 2022, we increased, I guess you can call it listenership or whatever, clicks, downloads, whatever, 64%.
Yep.
Over 2021.
Based on all their calculations.
I'm just blown away by that. And I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, would like to thank everyone that listens to these podcasts for that.
Yeah. Couldn't do it without you guys.
It's so humbling. I mean, I can't believe that many people want to listen to a couple dumb Ohio hillbillies, you know?
Yeah.
But
Stranger things happen, Jason. And
right, I know.
They always say fact is stranger than fiction.
Is that what it, yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I can't wrap my head around it either.
It's everywhere I go. I just got back from Long Island, New
You're
York.
still Jason Rambo. I'm still Sean Alley.
Right.
Our world's still rolling around the way it is, and I'm like, where? All these people listening to us all the time. It really is humbling, and it's cool.
Yes.
Just never thought that starting this thing, almost 3 years ago,
Yeah.
that we'd be to this point. So,
Well, I just got back from Long Island, New York. A club over there bought 60 traps from me, and the nice young lady that runs the facility over there, her husband, and I don't want to say their name. I don't know if they want their name mentioned on air, but he is a very well-known, very good shooter, Olympic gold medalist, everything else. Well, when I introduced myself, her eyes lit up, and she's like, "You're one of the Dead Pear guys," and she started freaking out. Now, these are very well-known shooters, okay? Like, these people know how to swing a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so excited that she met me, and she called her husband, and he's jealous because he's not there. And I'm like, I've never been to Long Island in my life. I don't know anybody over there. And to have that kind of recognition, I mean, this is the kind of stuff for those that are listening that, so many of you have reached out to Sean and I, whether you see us at shoots or you email us, call, text, whatever. It's just humbling. I don't know how to handle that kind of stuff.
It's kind of weird when you're not used to I don't want to use the word celebrity, but
yeah.
We have a dozen stories about,
Sure.
people recognizing us or hearing our voices.
I know.
And knowing who we were even before they saw us.
But no, seriously though, I bottom of my heart, I want to thank, all the listeners, and I really want to thank our sponsors,
Oh, heck yeah.
Those stats being 64% growth in 2022. I hope the sponsors are taking that heartfelt, because it shows the platform from which they advertise. They agreed to partner with us.
Yep.
And support us, and I can't thank them enough. And
thank you for the listeners, because obviously the more and more people that listen, the more the show grows.
Yeah.
And they're word of mouth telling their friend, "Oh, you got to listen to these guys. You got to listen to these guys." I actually met a friend, a sales guy that we buy materials from, and one of his relatives listens to our show.
Yeah, it's cool.
Because I told him about the podcast, and he came upstairs and looked at the podcast room. He was like, I talked to my so and so, and he said, yeah, he listens to you guys because he shoots.
That's awesome.
And it's weird. I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't even put it into words.
Yeah. And the last I want to thank, last but not least, is our guests.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Tracy Wright, I just spoke with him the other day, and he's just couldn't thank us enough, because he came on the show and, he talked about all the psychology stuff that we went over and that topic. I think he's an expert at it because...
Oh, he laid the smackdown on that.
He's got a degree in it. It's what he does for a living, so he understands it.
Yep.
And he's been flooded with phone calls, people wanting his help. And, he's like, man, I can't thank you guys enough. It's like, no, Tracy, thank you. I mean, you're the expert that came on and shared that with our listeners. And I don't know. We try to make this podcast fun and entertaining, and you still learn something. And a lot of people took value in that. And, thank you again to our guests.
Yeah.
That's just one small example.
It's a whole package. I mean, when you really look at it, it's the shooting community as a whole.
Yeah.
It's the guests that come on the show. It's the sponsors that support us and allow this to happen.
Yes.
And it's, of course, we're no small part as far as getting in here week after week and doing what we got to do to make this thing happen. So
it's still a labor of love, but man, those kind of numbers and the people that come up to us is what pushes us week after week. We've said it time and time again, and I'm truly humbled, truly grateful, and thankful. And by golly, we're going to keep doing it. We're going to make 2023 an even better year.
We are all excited. Let's keep going and keep pushing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, speaking of making it bigger and better, we have a national champion joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Miss Haylyn Hanks, the current ladies national sporting clays champion.
That's right. And we've had Haylyn on the show before for any of you guys that are interested. Way back, episode 37, I looked it up.
Yeah.
So this is going to be, I think, 108.
Yeah.
So you have to go back a little ways to find her original if you want to kind of hear what she had to say back then.
Yeah, we covered a lot of the basics with her, like what gun does she shoot and ammo and all that kind of stuff and all those interesting facts, but we're going to dive into her championship.
Yeah, find out what's been going on from then to now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sean, we don't have attorney talk to do. We're caught up on those. So I think we need to get on to it. We need to call Miss Haylyn Hanks.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, the current 2022 Ladies National Sporting Clay Champion, Haylyn Hanks.
Woo-hoo!
What's up, girl?
Nothing much. What's going on with y'all?
We're just, doing the winter thing here in Ohio, which is not exciting. It pretty much rained all day today. It's about 40 degrees. It's yucky. So nothing exciting here. Nothing exciting. I'm sure the weather's much better down there.
Y'all know Texas. It changes weather like it's bipolar. So right now I'm sitting in shorts and a t-shirt in January. So I guess we all have our problems there.
We do.
Okay, so the girl can get it done with a shotgun and she's sitting in shorts. I'm sorry, Haylyn, you get no empathy from me, okay?
Right.
I'm so sorry.
Jason, put another log on the fire. Hurry up.
Exactly. So, Haylyn, listen, obviously the Nationals win for the ladies is a huge accomplishment. Has it fully sunk in yet? I mean, have things changed for you since your win? Talk to us about it.
Oh my gosh, no. Are you kidding? My Nationals win is not registered yet, as funny as that sounds. In my head, I'm just, I'm still just Haylyn. I'm just still another shooter trying to do what I love and kill time and pull the trigger on a shotgun and watch things blow up. Right? So
right.
I really don't think anything ever will change, actually, just because the moment I think I let myself mentally change due to the fact that I've won any tournament, nevertheless, the national championships will really be the day I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting in my own head about literally something that's a hobby for me. So if I don't want to grow an ego, I've got ego at all. I've got too many things to worry about than trying to worry about letting this thing register. But I'm very, very thankful that I was able to do it, though. I will definitely say that.
Well, I can only imagine, though, I mean, because you were the ladies' champion, I mean, you have to have noticed either a change, more people paying attention to you, more people talking to you, maybe an uptick in social media followers. I mean, what have you noticed since that's happened? Because, I mean, it's such a huge accomplishment, and obviously it's such a milestone. It's such a great achievement that you've made. I mean, I can't help but think you have to have seen something that's kind of just totally out of whack at this point.
I mean, I've been talkative since the day I was born, y'all. So I talk to everybody. So that's really not changed. I mean, social media, it's maybe had a little bit of increase. My My lessons have been more booked up. I can totally say that. I've had a lot more congrats sent my way via text messages, Instagram, all kinds of stuff. So I guess that's been a big change, but mentally and physically other ways, no, it's the same old thing.
Well, Haylyn, I was one of the fortunate ones to be right there when it happened, when you wrapped it up there on Station 10 on the green course. And, the emotions were pouring. You had tears of joy in your eye. And, I mean, everybody was hugging you and congratulating you. And, when I went over to grab you for an interview, you were choked up, and it had to been something. Was it somewhat of a relief at that point? I mean, like, I finally did it, or what was it for you?
Oh yeah, I was so emotional when y'all pulled me over. I was like, y'all got to give me a minute because I'm gonna start falling on this video. But yeah, I felt kind of that complete relaxation in my whole, like, I was intense. My adrenaline was pumping, but I just felt like I finally have done the thing that I've been chasing for 12 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe it actually happened. I mean, to me, at least, I always wanted it, but I knew that it was going to take so much work to do it. And I was so thankful that at 19, I was able to win the national championships. That was the biggest relief I've ever really experienced so far.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because I remember Zach made the comment on a podcast that, before he won his first one, he had gone to the Nationals. Oh my gosh, I think it was 20 some odd years before he, finally got that elusive win. For somebody like me and sorry, Sean, but somebody like me or Sean, winning the national championship is so far out of vision. It's so far out in outer space for us that we can't even imagine it. But for somebody of your talent and your skill, or somebody like Zach, to have that vision and, I want to be there. I want to be on that top step. And then you finally pull it off. I just can't imagine. It has to be, like, say, somewhat of a relief, but at the same time, overwhelming joy.
Oh, I mean, I completely agree with that part. I mean, I knew when I was younger, I always wanted to be in the Olympics, right? And then once I started transitioning into sporting clays, I was like, okay, maybe this is something I can really obtain, but it's going to be, years from now. Never in a billion years did I think I would do it as soon as I have, which still 12 years as soon as I have, but it's still 12 years of hard work and preparation for that moment, right? So I did not think that was ever, in my future, in my path, but I was so thankful that I was able to do it. And I knew I always wanted to do it, but I always knew that it's gonna be down the road, Haylyn. You don't worry about it now. Just shoot, have a good time. It'll come when it comes. Right. And it just happened to do it.
Well, Haylyn, I want to back up because I know you've been to the Nationals many, many times. Do you remember how many times you've been there before you won? Was it 12 times?
10 years. 10
years. Okay. So let's talk about your preparation for last year's win. Anything that you did different? Any different mindset? Any different training? I mean, I'm not trying to say that your win was attributed to something that you did differently, but if there was something different, or if there was something that you focused on, or something that you really lasered in on, I mean, can you share it with us a little bit?
Oh, y'all won't believe this, but I never picked up the gun the week before. I did not touch the gun. Period.
What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
Hand to God, no, I did not. That's probably the most interesting thing you've ever heard. I can guarantee, but I was I'm in college right now, right? I'm at A&M. I've got other things to do. So I was more concerned with getting my schoolwork. I had a test on Monday. So I had an accounting test. I was like, this is not the priority right now. I'm trying to get out of college, get a degree, get a job, and pay for what I like to do, which is shooting. And I couldn't get my head into something like that when my brain's already 10 years in the future trying to focus on schoolwork and getting all that done. So I had a test that Tuesday. I had a test that Wednesday. I left Thursday after a quiz, and then I was studying for a test on Monday.
Wow.
So I really didn't have much preparation time.
Okay.
But there wasn't any way. But like compared to last year, I felt super, super pressured to win and go out there and show that I can still do it. I'm not losing my touch because I went off to college or doing anything like that. So I really hammered myself practicing months into advance. I mean, it was pretty much every day, at least 5 times a week I was on the course, whether that be shooting with A&M or going to Houston and practicing at Westside where I really practice. If I'm going somewhere else to shoot, or I'd be at my house.
Okay.
So I burnt myself out the week of nationals. I was so focused about preparation beforehand that when it got there, I felt like my brain could not compute.
Yeah.
So for 2022, I made it my goal not to stress over this. I was like, you got other things to worry about, kid. If you win the national championship, good stuff. If not, that's okay. We'll get him on the next one. Right.
Okay. Well, what about so since you didn't touch the gun and you got there, when you finally got there and you got your schedule for school cleared, did you notice a difference in your mindset? Did you feel different when you were there when you started?
Well, and let me jump in here on that because my question feeds off of what Sean just said. And let me add a second part to that if I could, Haylyn.
Okay.
Do you think with your mind so consumed with schoolwork that maybe it cleared your mind a little bit for shooting? In other words, and this is something, and I'm asking this because it's something I've personally been struggling with, is caring without caring too much. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it did.
Okay.
100%. It was a fire in the baby's mouth so I could do what I have to do. So it didn't distract me. Okay. And I thought of nationals, back to Sean's question, I thought of it like, oh my God, I got a vacation. Well, I'm just going to enjoy that I'm here and I'm not in school. I can totally do that. And I really felt more joy that I was in the situation. I was living in the moment because I had other things going on.
Yeah.
And so once I was able to get all my shooting stuff together and started picking up the day and starting off shooting, I don't even know the score. I think I shot a 70 the first day. I was like, holy crap, I can still do this. Let's keep going. And so I guarantee y'all, if y'all would have saw me after I finished shooting, I 100% went back. We stayed in an RV while we're there. I went back to the RV and I was studying for my accounting test. So it kind of kept my brain occupied, but it gave me something else to worry about. And it occupies the brain. It's that conscious mind just screws us as shooters.
Okay, so let me stop you right there and ask this question because you said something that was interesting. You said, and if I'm paraphrasing here, you basically went there and instead of focusing on the shoot itself, you were trying to enjoy yourself like it was a vacation, correct?
Oh yeah, I was smiling ear to ear for the fact that I was there.
Okay.
I mean, nationals is my favorite shoot of the year. So I was like, let's just enjoy the fact we're here. This is not work. This is play.
Okay. So can you think back of any other time when you went to a shoot and you weren't concerned about the shoot itself? You were just more, I guess, thankful, happy that you were there and you were looking at it as a vacation or a getaway versus a competition. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And then how did you do?
Oh, I'll give you the perfect example. World Feet Task, whenever it was in England, and I am awful with years, but I got there and I left my bag in the car because in Texas, we leave, it's everything, except in San Antonio, obviously, but we leave stuff in the car all the time. And I left my gun, my bag. I had some shells in there. I had my stools. And I don't know, someone broke into the car. I don't know who it was, but someone broke into the car, stole all my stuff. The only thing I had left to my name was my gun. And I shot everything borrowed. And so I ended up winning the silver medal as I was there. I shot in Kaylee Browning's glasses. I thank God, Ultimate Shooting Accessories in Castellani sent me a new vest because I could not shoot feet task in a pouch. I had one real earplug and one foamy earplug. And I was like, what do you do? And then brain was occupied, was worried about other things, and I was able to get the silver medal.
Okay.
So it's one of those things.
Actually, so I want to expand on that, Haylyn. You know, if Dawn Grant was, and I guarantee she will be, but if she was, when she hears this, I think the thing she's going to pick up on, and maybe you can agree with me or disagree, you were completely present when you were shooting.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be.
But I mean, with all
there's no room for anything else.
With all that distraction outside of being on the course, you know, the distraction of school and everything else, you weren't going in the next day with all this added pressure. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. I mean, when I felt, the only time I felt pressured at all was making sure that I got there on time, essentially.
Huh.
Because that was it.
Well, you know, my next question I had written down here was talking about the pressure coming in on Sunday. I mean, how did you manage that stress, or was there any stress? Because you had to have known you were in the lead on Sunday.
Oh yeah, I did not, like I said earlier, I didn't really feel much pressure going into Sunday because, like, I was worried about other things. You know,
Yeah.
I felt more excited rather than stressed out, really. Because I mean, I can't lie and say that I wasn't nervous, but I think the difference between stress and nervousness is the way the brain reacts to that intense situation. Right.
Agreed.
So
100%.
in stress, to me, it feels like the conscious mind is constantly creeping in and reminding the brain that it's in an intense situation. And then pressure and nervousness, you feel the excitement, right? You're excited to be there, but it's a nervous excitement more of the uncertainty that is applied. Like, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. That's what makes you nervous. And but it still allows you to utilize those unconscious parts of your brain efficiently. When you're stressed, you feel all you're feeling is, I'm stressed. I cannot think anything further than what I'm doing now. I got to win this. I got to break this next pair, right? And
Right.
Nervousness, you just feel that your palms start to get a little sweaty. And then when you close the gun, everything goes away. So to me, I will 100% in hindsight agree I was nervous, but shooting should never really be any source of stress or pressure.
Sure.
So I think pretty much, so like I said earlier, there's so many other things that you should pretty much be worrying about than shooting
Yeah.
and pulling the trigger, because this is just an expensive hobby that all of us have fell in love with.
Well, and I'll stop you right there, Haylyn, because I know that what you said is 110% true. But I'm one of those guys that I do get kind of stressed when I shoot, because I don't know why, but I build it up into my mind like it's something where.
Why do you think Chad calls me rev limiter?
And I know you do, Jason. I know you get all revved up about it. But, you know, I would say a lot of shooters, they do get kind of the butterflies, the fidgeties, the head buzz. You know, you get that kind of the nerves. I mean, I would kind of compare it to like when I was getting ready to go play football or something like that. You know, you kind of get yourself jazzed up when you go out there to compete. And I know that that's a problem. I know I shouldn't do that, and I've tried my best to minimize that. But, you know, what you're saying is 110% true. I think a lot of shooters will probably find it difficult to disassociate themselves with the stress and simply look at their shooting at a competition as fun or as a vacation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, growing up with my dad, I mean, this is how I had to go through it. Growing up shooting with my dad, he would always just say, go shoot, just, hey, go shoot. It literally just pull the trigger, look at the bird, pull the trigger. You're good. Just shoot. And finally, one day I just kind of was like, I don't understand how to just shoot, because this is 100%. I mean, it's 99% mental in this game.
Sure.
And pulling the trigger is literally that 1%, right?
Right.
So I think after many, many years of researching how, like, I made it, you can talk to anybody. I think I said in the podcast one time, I made it my goal to figure out how I can control my conscious brain. And how I was able to really kind of get through it in synopsis form was I had to rewire my brain on how I approach situations. So when I came into the situation of going in on Sunday, it can't be. I can't think of it as stress. I have to think of it as nerves.
Yeah.
It's just your nerves. So as shooters, we have to really dumb ourselves down, because most shooters that overcomplicate things, we have very intense brains. And so in order to get past that, you have to really rewire everything you say. It can't say don't shoot in front of it, because then what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Shoot right in front of it.
Yep.
So it's the same thing whenever you apply yourself with your mental thing. You have to rewire how you think of it.
Okay.
Sean, you believe this girl's 19 years old?
I know, right? Because, I mean, me and you struggle with this every freaking tournament. Dude.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like I said, there's the majority of shooters probably face.
This is awesome.
No.
Not only are we hearing from a national champ, but we're getting great information to our listeners too.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
From a young lady that's not seen as many winners as we have.
Right.
Right. All right. So, Haylyn, I'm going to change gears here for a minute, because obviously last year's nationals were very different from previous nationals because of the super squad.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Wanted to kind of pick your brain on what you thought about the super squad. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Pros, cons? I mean, what overall were your thoughts?
Oh, I think they should have done this years ago, y'all. Years ago. Not only did you get more intense competitions between your top shooters, but you also got more people to come watch it. It became more of a spectacle for people. It gave more publicity to the NSCA. It gave more publicity to the shooters. It was the thing. It broadcasted all of us in a way that it's never really been done before, except through the PSCA.
Right.
And now, since the PSCA is dissipated, now we have something that we can equate to it. So, I mean, I thought it was an awesome idea. I mean, it's the first year, so obviously they had a little hiccup with certain things.
Sure.
But that should have been done so long ago. And then I've only been doing this for 10 years. God forbid, I would love to know who the people who've done it longer than me, what they have to say about it.
Yeah, you might go ask Bill McGuire or something.
So, did you hear that they are combining the men's and women's super squad for 2023?
Yes, I did.
What's your thoughts on that? You like it? Do you not like it? What do you think?
It's awesome.
Okay.
Like that's the best idea ever. Like, and here's why in my head. When you have all these shooters on one rotation, it evens the playing field for men and women. But now you're evening the playing field for men and women as one, right? So I've always, my goal since forever has been, I want to be the first lady to win the Open National Championships. So if they had separate squads for women and men, that whole fairness principle has now been taken away, because there's one person that was able to shoot a different rotation than the men's.
Right.
Okay.
And it keeps, and I mean, for viewers' perspective, when you put everybody together, you don't have to go at 8 a.m., wake up and go watch the women shoot. And then at 3:30 in the afternoon, you have to go watch the men shoot.
I agree.
I mean, it keeps everybody together. And so you have more viewer aspect, and it keeps it fair all around. Right. So I can't go and watch blah, blah, blah shoot and go watch them shoot. How did they shoot this pair? Okay,
Right.
Now let me keep that in my brain, write it down or whatever, and say, okay, this is how I'd kill this pair because he killed it this way. Or vice versa, the men can't come watch the women's and do that.
Okay.
So it keeps everybody open and honest at the same time and keeps everything equal.
That's a good point. Good point.
Very well said.
Do we know how that they're going to select the super squads with the men and the women?
I think they're still ironing some of the qualification process out, because and again, I don't want to speak for Mark Baltazar. We'll get him on here once those rules are finalized, but I think they've changed some of the qualification process.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously Miss Haylyn's going to be on there.
Well, yeah.
But
I hope so.
I'm just curious to see how they, who they squad with who. Is it going to be based on score? Is it going to be based on?
I don't know. We'll have to get Mark on here when they finalize the rules.
Yeah,
we'll get Mark, or maybe we'll get Mr. Hampton on and we'll ask him that.
Gotcha.
I hope they keep the top keep the same layout with ladies and men's with their scores, so you're not having me shoot with Bill McGuire, Desi, and Kevin DeMichael or whoever, and keep us together. So it keeps all the ladies in one slot, all the men in one slot, but we just shoot at the same times. So we can't have me and my buddies that are men shoot together and us help each other out. Right.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think
that's how I would hope it would work.
I think you're still going to be shooting. Well, I don't want to misspeak here, but I think the way I understood it was you're still going to be on a squad with all ladies. It's just there's going to be like A and B squad mixed up between ladies and men's. I think that's the way it's going to work. I don't quote me on that, but I think if I understood it correctly, that's the way it's going to work.
Yeah, I know the higher up people than a lowly shooter like myself have better ideas because they've seen it longer, and that's not being ageist at all. That's just stating facts. They know how to make this run, and I know they're going to make the proper decisions that's going to benefit not only because the people making decisions, are shooters. And they're going to make it fair for shooters. And I feel that in my heart. And I know they're going to do what's best for them. And it's going to keep the NSCA in good standings with the shooters. So as long as they do it fair, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, for the first year out, I think it was very successful. I think it went well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about the host they had. I don't know what they were thinking with that. But
yeah, who's that guy?
Yeah, we won't mention any names.
But I think it went very well. But, you're going to have growing pains. Anytime you inflict something new on a sport, you're going to have lovers and haters. You're going to have ideas flying every which direction. But I think, honestly, for the first year, what they pulled off I personally think it went phenomenal. And they've got a lot of good ideas that they're going to try and implement for next year. So I'm excited to see what they do. And I think it's only going to get better. I really do.
Oh, 100%. You could only get better from that. I mean, it was a great base layer.
Yes.
There's not really any faults you can find. There was a few with just, like I said, just maybe adding, like putting the men and women together and being aware of who's shooting around who and that kind of thing. Right. That way there can't be any, me helping out a buddy or whatever, or a buddy helping out me kind of situation going on.
Right.
But there's ways they can make it perfect, but I think how they did it this year was a good job.
I think
it's a great starting off point.
Yeah, and from an outsider looking in, I wasn't able to make the Nationals this year for personal reasons, but I was very entertained watching from home. And I thought it was a great thing they did. And you got to start somewhere. I mean, honestly, we had Mark on not too long ago, and he was talking about all the challenges that they had to overcome.
Oh my goodness.
Really, it's lucky that anything worked at all from the way he explained it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it went extremely well for the first time, and I think it was very entertaining as a person sitting at home here in Ohio, watching everything develop and watching the coverage with Jason and all the live coverage of the shooters. I thought it was awesome. And if I was somebody that couldn't attend to the Nationals, that was the next best thing because it was right there and you could keep your tabs on it and follow your favorite guys and gals and again it was entertainment. Like you said, Haylyn, I mean everybody wanted to watch this thing. So I think it's a great thing.
Don't let him lie to you, Haylyn. He had a tear of jealousy in his eye. He was, watching from the couch.
Yes, I did.
I'm just kidding.
I did.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, why do you think shows like the Kardashians go so well? It's drama. I mean, you have to have that thing where you can interact with your shooters. You can do this kind of thing that you sitting at home. I mean, I had family. Most of my family goes everywhere with me. We're like the Clampets driving around. Where all of us are there. But I had some family members that couldn't make it, and they were able to watch it and say, "Oh my God, there she is. We can watch our girl go shoot, even though we're not there physically."
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, it was literally the coolest thing to be a part of. I can say that.
Well, I don't think you could have scripted the drama any better than what actually transpired because it really did come down to Station 10 for both the men's and the ladies' championship, and the drama unfolded exactly like they wanted, and it was awesome to see. I mean, being there and seeing it. I mean, I had goosebumps. I mean, I was all excited about it. I mean, I think it went really cool, and I'm excited for what comes in the future.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was not on purpose. Me and Zach can guarantee you. We wish we would have won it by many stations beforehand.
Well, sure, yeah.
It was not on purpose.
Yep.
But I think there's a plan for everything, as my mother says, and it worked out in the way that it should.
Gotcha. Well, Haylyn, going back to what you said earlier, I know you said that you've seen an uptick in your coaching. Is that still the case? I mean, are you still getting more and more new students because of your win, you think?
Oh, I feel like it's going up more. I mean, I hosted my first clinic. Me and a buddy of mine, Kate Fage. We hosted our first clinic with two people. I've done personal clinics, but we were able to book many people that day. We had more people calling in closer to time asking if they could fill a spot that had to be waitlisted.
Wow.
So I had that going on. I have on this Sunday, I have a clinic up in North Texas. I'm very, very fortunate that was able to react in that way in a positive manner. So I can definitely say, I mean, I love coaching. I'd coach way more than I could shoot if I could.
Yeah.
But it's very, very cool.
Well, obviously,
very excited.
It definitely helps you put a mark on in the roadmap, so to speak. And people now will look at you in a different light, I think. I mean, obviously you won, so you know what you're doing. I mean, it's instant credibility.
Sometimes.
The way I look at it, it's instant credibility. So good for you, and I'm glad good things are coming because of it. And again, congratulations for everything that you accomplished last year.
Yeah, for sure. So
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to talk. I'll never forget. Laney Basham said one time after he won a gold medal that he got depressed and he couldn't figure out why. And he said that his wife said to him, it's because you met your goal and you have not set another goal. So what about you, Haylyn? What's your plans moving forward? What are your goals for 23? Is it to try and go out and meet that championship again? Or are we looking at maybe a world title? I mean, tell us, if you don't mind, share with us what your big goal is for the year.
Oh, of course I want to win it again. Are you kidding? I don't want to be the one-hit wonder.
Duh.
You kidding?
Duh.
Come on. But no, I would love to win it again. I'd love to come back with the back-to-back national champions. That would be awesome. I'm going to England and to Hungary in the summer. So hopefully one of those. I'd love to win England since I'm on the team and really solidify. I won my silver in World FITASC years prior, but I'd love to solidify my gold in World FITASC. Like I said earlier, I'd love to be the first lady to ever win the Open. That would be. Oh, and I hate to say it, and all credit to the men in this sport because we know y'all have worked very hard, but it's time for a lady to win it. And I want to be.
Atta girl.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. You know what? Credit to Keenbaum. He said it, I think it was 2 years ago. The women are knocking at the door for an HOA, and how awesome would that be? I'd love to see one of you girls finally take that spot.
Oh, no, not one girl. I want to do it.
There you go.
I like it.
That's been the dream for so long. Like, I mean, it would be the coolest. I mean, how cool would that be? Like that, I don't know. I get starstruck thinking of it because I've known Zach since I was literally 8 years old, right? Shooting PSCA, me and Desi, we shot off together and sitting there talking with him. And I'm like, I would love your position right now. I would love to steal this spot from you. All respect for him to win it, but I want to do it next.
So I don't have the scores in front of me. Do you know what was his score versus your score? How many targets off were you? Do you know off the top of your head?
I'm not 100% sure, but I shot one of the highest ladies scores there's been. I think there was a couple higher, but it was up there, especially for ladies.
285.
285. So you were 6 targets back. In your heart of hearts, do you got that in you? Can you do it?
Oh, 100%.
Put her on the spot.
Atta girl.
Yeah, I like it.
I know I can do it.
I love it.
Well, and here's the deal is I shot one of my best scores I've ever shot. It was the best score I've ever shot at nationals. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I left at least 5 targets out there that I know I should have hit. And I think that would be, I mean, I knew, I was like, Haylyn, hello, Brady, come back. Let's fix this. So I know I could do it. I've seen myself being put in situations way harder than that in the past. So I know in the future I can handle it. So I'm excited. I'll do it.
That's awesome. I love that attitude. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, okay, here, I know Sean's got a question here for you, but before I turn him over, I know you said you shot off against Desi. Is there a competitor that makes you nervous? Like maybe someone you have a ton of respect for, you know they can get it done. Is there one of your competitors that makes you nervous?
Oh, they all do.
I love it. That's perfect. Perfect answer. Perfect answer.
Well, and here's the deal, guys. I know I won it, but I knew Desi was a bird behind me. Karen was tied with me going in. Ashley was in striking distance. All the other ladies were in striking distance too. One mess up, and I could have faltered and had somebody take over.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be Desi behind me.
Right.
It could have been somebody way, way back. It could have been the last lady on the leg. They could have done it too.
Right.
So
one bad station.
When I go into things, I can't I'm not afraid of any of them, but I'm also not confident I'm not cocky that I know when I go out there, I'm going to win. I'm going to win over them.
Right.
And I feel like that's how you have to go about. You can't be, for me, I can't go, I'm Haylyn Hanks. I know I can win this thing, because God forbid reality slaps you across the face and then wham, you're back down to loud.
Yeah.
This happened so many times before.
There's a big difference between confidence and cockiness. So yeah, well said.
And Haylyn, remind us all again, how old are you right now?
I'm 19.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be 20 in March.
I want everybody to listen. That is, we have been talking to a 19-year-old young lady who basically has stepped out, become the ladies' national champion, and she talks like she's been doing this for 30 years.
I know of individuals more than double her age that aren't as mature and mentality-wise.
Exactly. And hats off to you, Haylyn. Seriously. Congratulations for everything you've achieved. You've earned it, obviously. You've put a ton of hard work into it. I'm just, absolutely blown away that a person of your age, and then again the year before with Joe Finizzi.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you guys, the young people coming up through the sport, I mean, you guys are a real threat to all the well-known names. And everybody at the top of this game better stop and start looking real hard.
Yeah,
thank you.
Like Uncle Bill said, it keeps him on his toes.
Right. You know? Probably keeps him awake at night most times, too.
Right.
Well, you can never get too comfortable in this game.
No.
Because you can look, if you had a list from national champions from the very first nationals to now, there has been very few times. I mean, all credit to Zach. He's done it. This is back-to-back this year, or yes, no, 1 year before. I don't know.
Well,
I'm awful with remembering.
Let me throw this at you, because Anthony mentioned this to me, and it took me. I had to think about it for a minute. It took me aback. In 5 years, Zach has won the national championship 3 times, 2 of those times back-to-back, and he took second the 2 times he didn't win. That's never been done in the history of this sport.
Right.
Never been heard of, right? So that shows you the fluctuation of what we do. You can never be too comfortable at the top, because God forbid you're going to have that spotlight on your back. I know 100% going into this year that I have a target the size of Texas on my back right now. People are hunting me down.
Don't think them other girls aren't coming for you.
Yeah, they probably got their picture on a dartboard somewhere.
I don't blame them, honestly. But this is, you got to be very fully aware that you are replaceable in this sport, right? So when you're competing, I know going in my first my first tournament is going to be the U.S. Open, just aside from collegiate stuff and school and all kinds of little tiny shoots around Texas. But I know that when I go into the U.S. Open, people are going to be hunting me down, because they know what I have just carried into the new year. Mm-hmm. Just like last year, I was hunting the NSCA Ladies National Champion last year. Right. And so So it's going to constantly keep going in a circle and circle, and you got to be able to just be able to be yourself and do what you got to do.
Well, unfortunately, in the world we live in, and this applies to many sports, not just ours, you're only as good as your last tournament. You know?
Yeah, glory
yeah.
is fleeting.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Haylyn, I know you probably have a lot of sponsors to thank. Feel free to mention them now. And then also, if people do want to still get a hold of you for some coaching or stuff, feel free to give us some information. We'll put it out there for you.
Okay. Yeah, I am very thankful. I shoot for Castellani USA, I shoot for Blaser USA, and I shoot for Fiocchi USA. And I have been nothing but proud to be able to shoot for these companies. They have backed me for Blaser the longest, but they have backed me for so long that they knew that through my highs and lows of my shooting career, that they've got my back and they know I've got theirs. So I'm very, very thankful, and I'm very honored to be a part of their teams. And I mean, I got to thank, my family and everybody who supports me and my loved ones that have kept me going and forced me, that even on the days I didn't want to go out there and shoot, they made me. So it only makes me better of a shooter going forward. I'm very, very blessed to have that kind of support group from sponsors and from family and from friends that I've made over the years and that I'm making nowadays. For coaching purposes, my email is haylynhanksshooting@gmail.com. Email me if you want to have any ideas about lessons and timing. If not, I have Facebook, who people still use Facebook these days. And I have Instagram. It's Haylyn Hanks, just no spaces, no gaps, no nothing. It's just Haylyn Hanks. Just let me know and we'll try and get something together. And hopefully I'll be able to help you out going forward and get you some more knowledge about the sport.
Well, Haylyn, we'll be sure and put your email address right down in the podcast description. So, if anybody wants to just give that a look up, if they're driving down the road and hear this and they don't have a pen handy, they can go back and reference it and get a hold of you. You do realize that we're teammates now, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
Fiocchi USA, right?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm very excited to be teammates with y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to run into you at a couple Fiocchi events this year. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, of course. If I'm not in school or not at a shoot, I'll be there.
Well, the one shoot I really hope to see you at, we're putting a lot into it this year, is the Ohio State Championship. It's at the Cardinal Center. And there's a lot on the line this year. There's a lot of money up for grabs. So
we had 500 shooters last year.
So we're going to have to one-up that this year. We hope to see you there.
Yep.
So.
Okay, when is it?
I think it's August 3rd through the 6th.
Yeah.
It's the same weekend as the regional in Colorado, I believe.
Is that the Western Regional?
Gotcha.
Yeah, it is the Western Regional. So.
Yeah.
But
okay, yeah. Oh, well, we'll have to see through it and see if we can swing it. But if I can be there, I'll be there.
Well, you still get All-American points because there's going to be enough masterclass shooters there. You still get quite a few. So
yeah, and we had a lot of good shooters come out last year. Bill was there, and Wendell made it.
Yep.
Who else am I forgetting here? There's a couple.
There was actually quite a few.
Right. David didn't make it for whatever reason.
Yeah,
but whatever.
We had Rad Chad there.
Rad Chad was there, and Rad Chad was there the year before. I was trying to think. There was a couple other names there. I'm trying to remember. But anyways, yeah. I mean, if you can make it, that'd be great. We'd love to see it. But I'm sure we're going to bump into each other soon. Are you going to Jack Links this year?
Maybe, fingers crossed. It depends. So with college shooting and stuff, I think it accidentally might fall in the same time, but I'm not positive. If I can make it, I'd love to go. I've heard nothing but good things about that tournament.
That's a well-ran shoot. That's a lot of fun.
Jason and I'll be there, so if you can make it, look us up.
Well, Haylyn, listen, thank you for joining us tonight. Congratulations. I know I've told you 100 times before, but I'm going to tell you 101 times. You deserve all the accolades you can get.
Well, thank you so much. And thank y'all for doing this. It really means a lot. And thank you for Mr. Jason for being there and interviewing me afterwards. And I'm so sorry we missed you, Mr. Sean, but hopefully next year you'll be able to see it and hopefully be able to interview me again.
I will be at Nationals this year, God willing, and I'm going to be looking very much forward to it.
Okay. Well, thank y'all once again. I am very, very, very blessed to have this conversation with y'all. So.
Thank you, Haylyn. We appreciate you coming on again.
Absolutely.
Wow, Sean, I'm still reeling. That girl is 19 years old.
It's unbelievable how mature she is for her age and to accomplish ladies national champion.
Yeah.
At 19.
What's so cool, though? We've had Joe Finizzi on the show a few times, and he's just as mature for his age, and it's a testament to what the sport does to the youth coming up. They talk very intelligently. They're very respectful. Yep. I mean, I absolutely love this sport.
And honestly, she is knocking on the door for HOA. I mean, it's I'd love to see her take it. I really would. Somebody like her to take it, that would just be awesome. Well,
listen, I would like to see a lady take it, period.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Long overdue. Overdue.
Desi's been dangerously close. Karen's been dangerously close. Now Haylyn's been dangerously close. I think it's a matter of time it's going to happen.
It's definitely going to happen.
Karen won a regional, HOA to regional.
Yes.
So,
yes.
It's time.
Yep.
And I love it. I love seeing it.
Yep, I agree. I think that, really it was weird because, again, I was looking back, we had her on episode 37. And this is 108.
Wow, that's so weird to think about.
It seems like that's a long gap, but it was only, a year and a half?
Year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that young lady has definitely put the work in. She's definitely put the time in. And, hats off to her for achieving this monstrous goal.
I wish we would have asked her. I'm pretty sure she's using the little rhinos, but I think she's using the paper little rhinos. I have to ask her. Maybe we'll find that out and we'll put it in the podcast description. But, thank you to Fiocchi USA.
Yeah. Glad to have them on board in 2023.
Sponsored the ladies national champion, gave her the ammo she needed to get it done.
Right.
And, they're supporting us now, and I'm excited for the season.
Absolutely.
So, I cannot wait until you see my new bear pelt vest. I've been working with Heather Roden on this, and now it's for my business, Clay Range Design Works, but it's really super cool. Now, what we are working on, Heather and I, moving forward, and possibly may have a third-party entity if I can ever get him to answer his phone, no names mentioned.
David Rulovich.
Yeah. But we're trying to build a new dead pair vest. That is for sale through Bear Pelt. Anybody can go get themselves one, put their name on it, their sponsors on it, or anything they want. But it's a dead pair design vest. I'm very excited about that, and hopefully that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
So, listen, it's in the outro. Whether you listen to it or not, I hope you do. Thank you, Toby Tomplay, for that outro and intro. But our sponsors, Bear Pelt, Fiocchi USA. Negrini, man, I love me some Negrini cases, Sean.
Yeah. Rhino chokes.
Still waiting on you to buy me that carbon fiber case.
Yeah, it's on the wish list thing.
Rhino chokes, getting it done. Of course, we've got some Odo Pro hearing protection. Been talking to quite a few people that have been using their Odo Pros outside of shooting and finding that benefit. I told you at the beginning of this podcast, I just got back from Long Island. That's a 9-hour and 52-minute drive from my house. I drove all the way back with my Odo Pros in because I was able to talk on the phone hands-free, and I could actually listen to the radio without it blaring. It was and still hear traffic, and it was pretty cool.
And while you're up there, you set up a bunch of Atlas traps.
60 of them.
That's a lot.
Yes, it was a lot of work, but you know what? I loved every minute of it. And seeing the look on the customers' faces, they were excited. They were thrilled about what the Atlas machines will do that other machines won't. Their current machines will not even do. So they're very excited about that. Very happy customers.
And thank you to RE Ranger. Can't go out there shooting without our Ranger Reacts. And let's not forget about Don Grant. Let's not forget about Wooly Shooting.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's not forget about White Flyer. Everybody that's supporting the Dead Pair podcast for the 2023 season, we can't thank you guys enough.
Absolutely not. Cannot. And I hope everybody that's listening is going out for themselves, checking out their products, trying their products, seeing why they're so great, seeing the people behind those products and why they're so great, and why they believe in us and why we believe in them and why we will always continue to use their products.
100%.
So, but Sean just had a national champion on But you know what? You don't have to be a national champion to enjoy this sport. So what do
heck
we
no.
tell everybody every week?
Get out there with a gun in your hand and take somebody with you that's never done it before. Whether it's a charity shoot, whether it's just practice on the weekend, or whether it's their very first tournament. Show them how much fun this sport is. That's what we're all about.
That's right. And we've got some cool stuff coming up next week. Well, next several weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to be busy.
Yes, we are. We've got some really cool content coming for the rest of the year.
There you go.
We have worked very long and hard over the winter season, even though we're still in the winter season. We want to take the show not in a new direction, but in a more of an expanded direction. Does that make sense what I'm saying, Sean?
Sure, we'll go with that.
And we came up with some good ideas, some wonderful guests, and we hope you guys will find the value in it.
Yeah, and not to mention, we've got the Path Part 4 coming up not too far along.
That's on planning shoots.
Yes.
And I think that might be a good segue, not from next week's episode, but maybe a couple weeks later. We're going to feed off of next week's episode with that Path Part 4. And we're going to dive in detail to planning shoots. Now, this may sound silly to you. What's the big deal? You sign up and you go. Nah, there's more to it than that when you're going across country.
Yes, definitely.
And, we encourage people to go out, get these new shoots, big shoots. I know we talk about new shooters all the time, but until you get out and experience a big shoot, until you've traveled across the country and seen new places, seen new clubs, big targets, you really can't grasp what the sport's all about sometimes.
Amen. Amen. And not to mention the fantastic community. I mean, all the shooters in the community. I mean, that's what keeps us coming back year after year.
Week after week.
Week after week, yeah.
And if you're like me, you live it every day.
Heck yeah. Well, there's that.
And I enjoy the hell out of it. So,
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Selfish plug. If you need an Atlas trap, if you need a Rainier clay bot, or if you're looking for a tower for practice or for your club, man, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to help. 614-949-6121. Or you can reach me on my email, Rambo, RAMBO, @Reagan, REAGAN.com.
Yep. Well, Jason, what is it that we say every week?
We'll see you right back. Wow, I get to drop this line.
You get to drop this.
Wow, check this out, folks. He's turning over a new leaf in 2023. Hey, we can't wait to see you all back here next week on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair Podcast is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Bear Pelt, Negrini, Rhino, Otopro, Dawn Grant, Atlas Trap Company, RE Ranger, Woolly Shooting, and White Flyer Targets.